Peace and blessings and shalom to the family. I'm back. I'm back for the second time today. I am back. I am back. Welcome to another edition of Maccabees TV. Hold on a second now, y'all. Gotta make sure everything is looking good on the channel. Make sure we're good. All right, I gotta mute that. Yeah. Hebrew Israelite Sanctuary, #1 in the building. Shalom to you. Brothers and sisters, can I be heard? Let me know if I can be heard. If I'm heard loud and clear, let me know. And as y'all come in the building, make sure you hit the like button. Warrior Lord, I see you made it to this live stream. You made it this time. That's what's up. Officer Zachariah, I see you. King Shalom. Royal Prince Shalom. Deacon Aishayar, Shalom to you. Augustus King, Shalom to you. My family's coming in the building. Good to see you all. Good afternoon. As y'all come in the building, make sure y'all hit the like button. Tommy Boy, Shalom to you. Apostle DeBar Malak, Shalom to you. Shalom to everybody. Welcome to another edition of Maccabees TV. It's your brother, Priest Daniel, Alliance of Israel, Maccabee Alliance Council. So this afternoon, I have a guest with me. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring my guest on. We can get started, and brothers and sisters could come in and join the conversation as they can. And as always, as I keep saying, hit the like button. That usually brings more people in. So without further ado, I want to bring in my guest. Some of you brothers and sisters may be familiar with my guest. Some of you brothers and sisters may not be familiar with my guest. If you watched Santeria TV at any time in the past and you recognize my brother, none other than my brother Malik, aka Cuban Crisis. Peace and blessings to you, brother. Shalom, and welcome to Maccabees TV. It's your first time, so definitely a pleasure to have you, King. How's everything going?
Peace. Good. Maintaining. How you doing?
Hey, man, I can't complain. I'm alive. I'm above ground. I lost some good ones last year, man. Some good friends of mine last year, and so I'm still here, man. So every day that I'm able to take another breath, I'm thankful, man, to be here for my family, to be here for my brother, and another day for me to get things right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm honored to be on here, man.
Oh, all praises, all praises. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started, right? We're going to start from the beginning, and we're going to pretend like nobody on this platform knows who you are, who has ever seen you before, right? So this is Brother Malik. So, Brother Malik, I want you to give the audience a little bit of a background of yourself. So tell people, how you came into consciousness, give the people a little bit of background about your journey into consciousness.
Okay. Let's see. I'm about to be 42, and I was 12 years old. We didn't call it consciousness then. We called it knowledge of self. So at 12, I was studying Islam. At 14, I joined Zulu Nation. At 17, I took my Shahada and I became Muslim. And then at 17, I began dealing with people from the movement, the International Concerned Friends and Family from Omia Abu Jamal. I began then meeting like Panthers and Young Lords, then to New Black Panther Party members. And
that's a lot.
About then about let's see, 2008, I left Islam, and I'm initiated into a system called Lukami, which The generic term is called Santeria. So I've been, I've, when I was younger, you know, getting into all this, my routine was uh, go to meetings of different organizations. I wanted to learn firsthand versus like hearsay. So I would go to like Nation of God's Earth parliaments. I would go to the Nation of Islam Mosque. Now, mind you, this is even though I was a Sunni Muslim. I would still do this because I wanted the information. Fridays at nighttime, I would go to the Moore Science Temple when they had their Juma. I even would go to the Nuwapian classes. And I just, I wanted to learn. And I would go to like lectures with like Dr. Africa or Attorney Maddox. I think the only place I never got to go was to anything dealing with Israelites.
Yeah, I noticed.
Because at that time it wasn't like you didn't meet a lot of people that was really into it,
right?
Versus today, there's more people that's into it now. So I've been around different ciphers and in different ideologies, exposing myself to what people teach, just to be well grounded.
So now, you being of Puerto Rican, or are you of Cuban or Puerto Rican? You have Cuban background, am I correct?
Yeah, Cuban.
Right. Okay. So we know that in Cuba, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Roman Catholicism is the big thing. So were your family like, are they Roman Catholics? Were you raised like a Roman Catholic?
No, I was actually adopted. My biological family was in the traditions that I'm into. And believe it or not, my adopted father wasn't anything. My adopted mother, she was a Jehovah's Witness. So I was actually raised a Jehovah's Witness.
So then how did you get into Islam?
Just listening to hip hop, listening to Public Enemy, listening to Poor Righteous Teachers and Lakim Shabazz. Pretty much hip hop was that doorway.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Me too.
Was, what's this? Let me find out what this is. And I'd say at 12, I absolutely did not believe in the Jehovah's Witness doctrine. By 12 years old, I was like, no, I don't believe in that. Yeah.
So that's, it's funny because that hip hop, that shows you the power of what hip hop is. We, now that we're older, we try to deny it, whatever, but I know the power of it because that's what led me away from Christianity into that whole 5% thing too. It was hip hop music, man. It was Brand Nubians. It was Poor Righteous Teachers. It was Big Daddy Kane. It was Rakim. Like everybody was a god. You know what I'm saying? So that was the thing. And I'm trying to get in the industry. So I was, I jumped on in that thing too. So that's the power of hip hop music. So I definitely can relate to that. But you said that you still was, dibbling and dabbling in a lot of things. Now, a lot of people know you, and I want to get this off the bat, right? A lot of people know you for being fiery, right? That's your reputation. You're a fiery brother. And I know that you're transitioning into being a little bit more, what's the best way for me to put it? You can disagree without being disagreeable. That's it. And as we get older, we all do that. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, it's I still have my passion, but it's like you gotta know when to pick your battles. You gotta know what's worth getting upset about, and wasting time and energy on. Because I think a lot of people know me, unfortunately, know me from the whole Nuwapian thing. And that's not even why I first went on, Baba or Sanada's platform. It was not for that, to be honest. It just so happened that was a conversation that got brought up, and I was stupid enough to entertain it. And because of that, the result of it is I'm known as the guy who's the hater. I'm known as the guy that's hates Nuwapians, and I don't hate Nuwapians. I don't. I disagree with them, but I don't hate them. So you live and learn. You live and learn. So I'm kind of like branded with that in the YouTube world.
Yeah, you used to go hard. Talk to me a little bit about the whole, and you can speak on it as much or as little as you want. Talk to me a little bit about the whole Zulu Nation thing. Now we know that that's a hot topic, right? We understand for a lot of reasons that's a hot topic. Hassan Campbell made that a hot topic. You know, what's his name? The other guy that got
Colonel Savage.
Yeah, Ron Savage made it a hot topic, et cetera, et cetera. So we know all the things that was said about Africa Bambaataa, what he was doing, what he was doing to people that was in the Zulu Nation, whatever. As much as you can, how involved were you with the Zulu Nation? That's question A, and I guess you can back it up with question B with me asking you, what do you think about what's been going on with the Zulu Nation as far as the accusations about all the molestation that was going on with the children?
As far as my involvement, I was a member for 24 years. And like I said, I was adopted, so I didn't have the best situations growing up adopted. So Zulu was like my family. So it meant everything to me. I believed that I was gonna die as Zulu. Like, put you like that. Like, I think like everybody, we were all shocked. My last post that I held, I was one of the national spokesmen for the organization. Which ironically, that's why I initially wanted to go on Santeria, because as an international spokesman, I wanted to promote Zulu Nation. But there was actually people of higher status in the organization, or the gang code. It's not an organization, gang code, that didn't like that I went on there. So once I saw that they weren't feeling it, I kind of like backed off. I'm like, well, you don't appreciate me trying to promote the organization, so screw it. You know what I mean? If I go on there, I go on there. But as far as what we've all heard, unfortunately, it's true. When I left, which was like the first week of May 2015, we had our meetings at the National Black Theater. I had found out that night that he was gay. And when I found out he was gay, I didn't want to have a leader that was gay. That's just me. To each their own if you want to be gay or not, but I'm not into that. I didn't join an organization to be affiliated with gay people. So I left. And then the following month is when I found out he was a pedophile before the videos were coming out. So I knew from June 2015 for a fact that he was a pedophile. So if you go back and you see that video with me and Inky, I was very distraught. I was very depressed. I was devastated, because I didn't know, who am I going to call? Santeria? I'm going to tell this platform. I'm going to tell that platform. I thought people would have looked at me like I was crazy, and it was difficult because it was just a lot of stuff I'm finding out, and I didn't have nobody to talk to about it. And one of the people that I could talk to about it, actually, because prior to me finding out what I found out, when he got stabbed April 1st, 2013, I'm real cool with Chuck Morgan. So I would talk to Chuck, and Chuck would vouch for this. Like, I put everything together like a puzzle. Like, it was like an investigation. That whole stabbing thing didn't add up. Other things didn't add up. And I'm like, there's something that's just not right here. And the thing that wasn't right was the whole pedophile thing. and it everything began to fall in line and began to make sense of why things were the way they were.
Okay. Now
So
we ain't got to really dwell on this too long, but people were saying that it was always like a unspoken secret that Africa Bambaataa was a homosexual the whole time, and that he had a thing for little boys. Now I've never been a member of the Zulu Nation, but I'm from Mount Vernon, New York. Everybody knows Mount Vernon is on the border of the Bronx. It's right there, not too far from Bronx River. So I have always heard this, and everybody says it was always. I'm not saying that but if you want to speak on it, yes or no. But did you hear about it before the accusations came out, and you just decided that it wasn't true at the time, and then later on you found out it was true, or did you just hear about it when the charges came out?
No, I had heard about him being gay when I was a teenager, and the thing was that I guess I was so caught up in a personality. I was so caught up in him as the second founder of hip hop, and I'm in this organization or supposed organization, and now I have family. I overlooked it, and to me, when I heard about it, I was just like, oh, those are people that are jealous, because he's the second founder. He may not be like real big in America, but he's really big. If you talk about Japan, if you talk about Brazil, if you talk about Europe, Australia, he's a big to do in those places. So I'm thinking, people are jealous. And then I'm thinking, okay, I've never seen him with a woman. I don't see no kids. Maybe he can't have kids. Maybe he doesn't want kids. Maybe he wants his personal life, not in the light, or maybe he just likes to mess around with different females. That's how I looked at it. Because it was just it. And the thing is when I heard it, I really didn't hear a lot of people talk about it. I only heard it like a few times. So I just looked at it like somebody just talking trash, oh, he's gay. Okay. That was the extent of how I saw it.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the next topic, which is really why you're here and what we spoke about behind the scenes that you thought I wouldn't want you to talk about on the platform. So I have my brother Raymond Salgado in the chat, which you know him on Facebook as well. You know the brother. And so he told me to ask you about the system that you are involved in. So let's start off by saying, as you know, this is an Israelite platform, and we consider what you're involved in to be idolatry. You know this. So I'm not going to put no punches. You know this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, so, I know. Don't jest. I know.
No. We're gonna talk, right? So we consider what you are in as far as it being idolatry, right? So as you mentioned before, we're gonna say it again. You are into Santeria, right? And so the brother Raymond Salgado I'll start off with his question. He wants to know what made you go in that direction, and also explain, are there different versions of Santeria as well? Like what made you pick that up? Because you said Jehovah's Witness, then you said Sunni Muslim, dibbling dabbling with 5%ers, went to some Nubian classes, Zulu Nation, then whoop, Santeria. So talk about
it. Well, let me say first, I want to say peace to the brother. That brother right there, man, that's a really good brother, man. Like straight up, I got love for that brother. Well, again, when I was a Sunni Muslim, at this point in my life, I didn't hang around people like my age. The closest it would be is if like I was around Zulus, but even then, I've always been the type that I always like hanging out with people older than me. A lot of the brothers that were Muslim, they had tasted, they had experienced, they were in the nation, or they were a 5%, or they were this or that. So I wanted to learn, what that was. So it wasn't necessarily a thing of me going there because I was believing in it. It was just to learn. But what made me get into the traditions? The traditions, again, Santeria is a generic term, and it's a term that came about in the 40s or 50s. The name when it wasn't just actually one group of Africans that came into Cuba, but the when the traditions came into Africa, they brought Ifa, IFA, and there's a language as well as a ethnic group called Lukami, and there's different pronunciations and variations to that. Um, and so I don't know if you guys maybe seen a video where you see people's lips, their mouths, and it's showing Yoruba language versus the Lukami language, and it's showing the similarities. Some people like post it on Facebook. It's on YouTube. So that it's a language as well as an ethnic group. Now, when they came, it became known eventually as Regalia de Ocha, which means Regalia de Ocha. Ocha is a Spanish word, and it's a derivative of Orisha. And Regalia is Regle. My Spanish isn't good, and I'm trying to remember the translation of that word. If somebody in the room knows it, I apologize. But you have Regalia de Ocha, and you have what's called Regalia de Ifa. And so there's a difference because of the systems are different due to one is you're dealing with Orisha, and the other system of Ifa is a system that's only for men. These are the high priests, and so they're dealing with Orisha, but they're dealing with a particular Orisha. So this it's a long story. It's very intricate.
So okay,
but what made me get into it was something I experienced at about 14. And when I experienced what I experienced, I wrestled with it as a Sunni Muslim because Sunni Muslims would view it as evil. And then if you went to, let's just say you mentioned to, let's just say, a Nation of Islam or a 5%er, they would view it as spookism. So they would just say, oh, that's psychological. That's all in your head. So due to what I experienced, along with the longer I was in the religion of Islam and the more things I learned, I began to just having differences with the theology, not based on, let's just say, a Dr. Ben book, not based on somebody from the conscious community or anything like that. My differences came about due to studying the works of other scholars that were Muslims, that were professing to follow or adhere to what is called Ahl Sunnah wa Jamaat, the people of the Sunnah. And so there's some very big indifferences. And these indifferences were so much so that if you go to a Muslim, for example, a Sunni Muslim, and you say, who is Allah? They're going to say, Allah is the creator. Okay, where is Allah? They're going to say, well, he's not in his creation. He has no son. He has no daughter. He has no trinity. There is no deities. There are no demigods. He is the creator and everything else is the creation. Okay, but where is Allah? And then the answer would be, according to the second chapter of the Quran, that he is above his arsh, his throne. And he is above the seventh heavens. Now, how is he above his throne? How did he rise above his throne? The answer would be Allahu A'lam, Allah knows best. You would not be able to question that, because once you begin to question that, then that puts you in the state of kufr, disbelief. So you have to believe that he did this and is at this location. But the more I learned is that there is those scholars that a lot of Muslims grab onto, because you have to, in Islam, you have to adhere to the scholars. You have to adhere to the scholars of the past and the present. That is like mandatory. So there is an indifference because there are scholars that a lot of Muslims take from and will quote from. And these same Muslims believe that Allah was anthropomorphic. So now the question is he anthropomorphic or is he unseen, not like his creation? So when I began to study that and get into that, and I began to see that there is opinions of scholars, they have their own fiqh, their own understanding. I began to say, well, I'm basing my life on the opinion of someone because that's just how they see it. So I kind of eventually was just like, I haven't experienced nothing with this Islam other than I've learned obedience, I've learned discipline, I've learned, study habits and stuff like that. But I haven't. Mm-hmm.
1 second. Self-savior. I don't know if you know Malik or you don't know him. But brother, just take a chill, man. Take a chill in the comments. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Right? We're not here to ask the brother anything personal other than what he wants to share. That's it. All right?
What's the brother asking?
One of the questions he asked is your name Jose. Is your real name Jose?
Oh, so he wants to be sarcastic. No, my name is not Jose. But we can get into that well, because that's really that honesty right there. His sarcasm and what he's talking about is really my platform. My platform really is black, brown, and red unity, and how so-called African Americans, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, which is a big reason why I have a lot of respect for Israelites, because they talk about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and the need for there be a unity. That's actually my platform, is how we have been indoctrinated with the self-hatred and the ignorance that we propel and say towards one another.
But Malik, I don't want to get too caught up in that. Let's get back to what we're talking about. So, go ahead.
At the end of the day, the individual is emulating the oppressor that they so much against. So right. You're actually doing the biddings of the white man with the sarcasm. So anyhow,
what I want to ask you is, because you're talking right now, I want to just cut in for 1 second if I could. You mentioned that you had an experience, but you didn't elaborate what the experience is. I don't know if the experience is personal, and so you don't want to share with the people. You said that the 5%ers would call the experience spooky, and the Muslims would call you like a heretic or something like that. What is this experience? I have an idea, but I'm kind of saving my question to wait to see if you're going to get into it. I have an idea, but go ahead, man.
It's personal, and it's because it's actually funny. I was having a talk with a brother early from Team Osiris, and we were talking about this. And when you have these type of conversations where you talk about things that some people are gonna say, "Oh, that's supernatural," or "That's spooky," or "It's this, it's that," it's best to not talk about it, because people will think you're crazy, or people they haven't experienced something for themselves.
Okay, so let me do it this way, and maybe you can answer it this way, right? And maybe this is not what you're talking about. So without making it personal with you,
yeah,
I've seen people that deal with Santeria and Voodoo and stuff like that. They go into a trance like they're possessed by a spirit. Very similar to what we see the church. See, that's why you laughing. Come on, bro. I'm on it. Right?
No, I didn't. It wasn't nothing like that. It wasn't
Okay. But we do see that. We'll get there when we get there. I want to let you continue with your story. So go ahead, man.
So basically, those things with Islam and just having difference of opinions on different things, and which is very long and drawn out. I fell back, and I ran into somebody. At this time, I was living in Irvington, New Jersey, and I ran into someone that was in the traditions, and just kind of like took it from there. It's been a, it's been a process. So I have various different initiations that I've acquired. I'm not a priest or a high priest yet or anything like that, but I have my initiations in the traditions.
Okay. All right. So now this is what I want to ask you, right? So the brother is asking you another question concerning what are the fruits of Santeria, like what has it done for you? We'll get to that in a second. I'm going to say some things to you from what I've seen. I'm not claiming to be any expert on Santeria or anything like that, right? But I see a lot of parallels between Santeria and Roman Catholicism. I see a lot of parallels in terms of the statues, a lot of the traditions that the priests in the Roman Catholic Church do during services. I see some of those same things being practiced in Santeria. I even see, forms of like, I would say like Pentecostal Christians and apostolic Christians who claim that they get filled with the Holy Ghost and they're rolling around on the floor with the Spirit in Santeria. Like there's a lot of similarities between these traditions. Explain the similarities between these traditions. Why do you think there are so many similarities between the traditions? Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and mince words because you and I had a conversation. We're going to be real with each other, right? So we look at stuff like that. We say that when we see it in the Roman Catholic Church, it's demonic. That's what I say. So I can't be biased and then say that when I see it in Santeria, I don't say the same thing. I say the same thing. So explain to me why I'm wrong.
Okay, so in Look at Me, all right, like for example, if you looked it up, let's say Wikipedia, it's going to say it's synchronized with Catholicism. It's not really accurate. I'm going to tell you why. When you get your first initiation, which is you will receive your boyadas or your lekis. Okay, first of all, you have to be accepted into an ile, into the house. And then that priest or priestess has to go to their orisha to see if you're accepted into the ile.
Stop. 1 second. Sorry to cut you. I don't mean to cut you, but you have to remember you're dealing with an audience that's not familiar with terminology. I know what orishas are, but can you speak to the audience about what it is, please?
Okay, an orisha is basically it's not a spirit. An orisha is a manifestation of the creator. It is also a manifestation of nature, depending on who the particular orisha is. So your first initiation would receive in Spanish is goyadas, but the Yoruba word is eleki, which is these beads, right? So you receive 5 beads. You would receive Echu, Obatala, Shango, Yemaya, Oshun. Now, when you received it, there's minimum things I can talk about because you have to be initiated. Okay, so within that first initiation, there is nothing dealing with Catholicism. The second step, if you have to do it, because you may not have to, but if you have to do it, would to receive your mano de la rula. The mano de la rula means your hand in Ifa. The woman receives her mano de ikin. She doesn't receive what's called mano de la rula. That's for a man. But she receives in a day, and a day is like a bracelet like this. This is an E-day. And on my day, you'll see you see yellow and green, which is Orula, and the green and white, which is my Orisha, who would be my father, who would be my head, who is Ododua. When you go for this, you're receiving your warriors. You're receiving your Eshu or Aligua, depending on who is doing it. If you're in Ifa house, you will have an Eshu. Otherwise, you'll receive Aligua. Then you will receive your Ogun, and a pot, things that go in the pot. And then you'll receive Ochosi, who is another Orisha, and you'll receive Osun. The next day, you will find out who your head is. And you have to have this done with 3 or 4 babalaos. Your 4th day or your 3rd day is when you will receive your ita, your destiny, your do's and your don'ts, what you have to live according by. Okay? And all of that, no Catholicism, none whatsoever. After that, some people may have to receive Olokun. Some people may have to receive Ibeji. Some people may have to receive another Osun. Some people may have to receive different Orishas, right? In that there is no Catholicism. Then the time comes if you have to become a priest or priestess, which is called Ocha. There is nothing within that that is Catholicism. Then if a man has to receive Ifa to be a high priest, there is nothing in that that is Catholicism. The confusion is the system is called Espiritismo. Espiritismo means spiritualism, and it's very big in the Caribbean. So it's not just Cuba, it's Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad. Many places have Espiritismo. And there's different ways of practicing Espiritismo. Now, the reason why the confusion comes is a lot of people who deal with Espiritismo may have Catholicism with their bovada, with their table for their ancestors. It's not that the individual is practicing Catholicism. It's that their ancestor happened to be a Catholic. If your ancestor wasn't Catholic, let's just say they were 5%, then you could put out your supreme wisdom and supreme mathematics. If they were Buddhist, if they were Hindu, if they were, hypothetically speaking, if they were a Hebrew Israelite, and they deceased, and that was your father, and you in the traditions, you say, you know what, my father, he read his King James Bible, you know, this was something he wore, you know, on his head, or these were his fringes, and I'm going to leave this here for him, and I'm going to pay respect, and I'm going to read the Bible at times for him. It's just out of respect. Now, you'll read that in the times of physical slavery, the Africans, that they had to disguise the Orisha with the Catholic saints. Now, that's factual, and that was because they had to preserve the traditions. So they saw similarities, and they did it to confuse the slave master to continue the tradition. Now, are there individuals that practice it that do go to a Catholic church? Yeah, there are people that do that. Just as you will find in Africa, you will find some Africans that go to church, that go to a masjid, that deal with the traditions. So you do find that, but that's not a thing that is obligatory. You know, that's just something some people do. And so there's a confusion there. Now, as far as when you're talking about seeing people rolling around and stuff like that, what you're talking about is asiento. You're talking about when someone is getting mounted, when they're getting mounted by Orisha, or they're getting mounted by a mortal, a dead, or a goon. There is possession in it. There are some people that cannot get possessed.
Have you ever been possessed?
No.
What's the purpose of it? What's the purpose of being possessed by these spirits, or mounted as a horse? So you say, what's the purpose behind that?
There's a lot of different reasons. I can't, let me turn my car light on. There's a lot of different reasons. Some of it be because people are in need of help. That's just I'll leave it there with that one situation. But now, as far as what you see, I'm glad you brought that up about the church, because that is the influence in the church. When you see, like, for example, you don't see Catholics catching the Holy Ghost. You don't see Jehovah's Witnesses or Lutherans or Mormons or Episcopalians catching the Holy Ghost. You find that within the Baptist Church, the Second Baptist, Pentecostal, and that is because the Africans incorporated their traditions into Christianity in this country. And so this is a remnant of that. Now, are there people that's faking it? Absolutely. Just like in the traditions, there's people who will fake being mounted. And there's ways of knowing when someone's faking. Some people just do it because people are people, and they want to be seen, and they want to be heard, and they want to be the talk of the evening. Oh, look at him, he was mounted. Oh, wow, he did this, he did that. It's the same way in church. Oh, look, brother so-and-so got the spirit. Meanwhile, brother so-and-so didn't catch no spirit. He was faking it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. This is go ahead. Sorry, I want you to finish first.
No. Go ahead.
Somebody in the chat asked this question. It's kind of a doozy. It's a good one though. Hassan.
All right, I'm right.
Hassan Anyawible said the spirit or Ori can be male or female. Due to this, they can accommodate homosexuals. So, what do you say to that? Do you understand?
Say that one more time.
Okay.
Something about gay people. What?
Okay, so what he said was, the question that he asked was, and hopefully you can answer it, because I don't know anything about it. He said the spirit or Ori that I guess mounts a person can be male or female. Due to this, they accommodate homosexuals. Do you understand the question? Because I
understand what he's saying. So your Ori, okay, so for example, when you say Orisha, it's composed of two words. Ori is the first part, which is this part of your head. And Sha is consciousness. So Orisha is means conscious head, right? And the Ori is a very critical, important thing. Now, homosexuals being mounted. Let me just say that as I said earlier, that I left Zulu Nation due to a leader being homosexual. I do not deal with homosexuality, not even in the traditions. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is when it comes time that I have my own house, I will not allow homosexuals to join my house. Why? Because when it comes that time, I have to receive Ifa. And Ifa is about life and character. Ifa is about life. Okay, there cannot be life if there's homosexuality. It takes man and it takes woman. There are individuals that in the traditions that are okay with it. And there are individuals that I have seen with my own two eyes. Yes, I've seen them get mounted by muerto.
When you say muerto,
muerto means by the dead, by an ancestor.
Muerto, that's right, exactly. Yes. Okay, I have a question for you. Go ahead.
As far as seeing somebody mounted by Orisha that was gay, to my knowledge, they weren't gay. I don't know. In the Lucami system from Cuba, anyone that has to receive Ifa or Babalaos, one who has to receive it to the one who has received it. In Lucami, Cuba, we don't get mounted. That is one of the prerequisites of a Babalao. A Babalao does not get mounted. Now, in Africa, it's a different story. But in Cuba, no.
Okay.
So there's some differences.
Okay, so while we're on this topic, I want to say something to you, right? one of the things that Israelites say to people that are involved in what are called so-called African spiritual systems, whether they be West Africa, East Africa, Kemetic, whatever it is, one of the differences that we make, and I want you to speak to this for me and help me out with this, because I haven't gotten a cohesive answer from anybody. I'm hoping I get one from you, right? One of the things that we tout as Israelites is that we have codified records, right? Which is we call the Bible, the Torah, et cetera, et cetera. We have codified records, right? And our codified records are there, and they're written down so that we can see the do's and the don'ts of our tenets, our faith, our custom, our moral our folkways. They're written down for us, so we know what's allowed and what's not allowed. It's not up to the Torah. The Torah is not up to interpretation. Leviticus 20, verse 13 specifically prohibits two men from engaging in any form of intimacy. I'll say it like that, specifically. So I can't interpret it one way and do it my way in my temple, but over there in the temple down the road, they don't allow it. It's uniform. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't go on, but it has to go on covertly where nobody could know about it, because if somebody knows about it, then, you know, something would happen to you. And I think one of the problems that we have when we deal with what's so-called Kemetic science and the different Kemetic initiation systems, and also the ones on West Africa, is that something that you just said. I'm gonna allow you to speak to it. You said that when you get your house, you won't allow it, which says to me that some of the houses in the system that you are involved in do allow it. And that's one of our biggest hurdles as Israelites, why we have a problem with this whole all the so-called West African spiritual systems, because there's no codified law that you're governed by. It's almost like it's up to the individual. Like, okay, you're making sense of it and rationalizing that, yes, it's wrong because life comes from a man and a woman. You rationalize it, but there's no codified law that says across the board, we don't tolerate this. So what do you say to that?
Well, that's a really good question, and I'm going to tell you that that's a question that holds weight. That's not a type question that holds weight. It does. Okay, so we have what's called Odu. It's 256 Odus, but within the Odus, how can I say this? Within the Odus would be like verses. There are thousands. There's a lot. There's a whole bunch. And then we have what's called Pataki. The Pataki is basically the traditions of the Orishas. Now, as I had stated to you earlier, you know, when someone receives their Mana de Rula, your warriors and everything, on that third day, you'll get your Ita, your do's and don'ts. In this system, that is what governs. It's not like the Bible or the Quran where it's laid out like you can't do this, you can't do this, or like this is permissible, that's not permissible. It's not like that. Now, when it comes to homosexuality, the issue is this. For me, it makes sense that it's not permissible because of the simple fact that the traditions are supposed to be about life and character. And the traditions is about opposites, right? You have life, you have death, you have darkness, you have light, you have man, you have woman, you have happiness, you have sadness, the opposites, right? Some people, unfortunate, they're in it for to make some money. And they're in it to compromise and say, well, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Who am I to judge? They come with that liberal westernized mentality. Because you have to keep in mind here, talking about a people that were enslaved. You know, we're talking about the people that received the Inquisitions and the African Holocaust. And there's an indoctrination here. It's like they say you can take the nigga out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the nigga. It's the same way when you go into whatever. Some people are going to hold on to things that they just shouldn't hold on to. And they can try their best to cover it up in front of people, but behind closed doors, you never know what people are doing. But some people are out with it. I object to it. I can't make that shot call to be like, okay, this is not permissible. I can't make that call. I can only do that for my family and one day the house I have. And the other thing that I do is I just do my best not to put myself in the surroundings of individuals who I know are into that or condone that. Because again, this is about character. Right. So if you're going to be having good character, then you have to have principle. So if I'm in a situation where I go someplace, like I really try not to go to drummings too much. Why? Because I'm really not a people's person like that, be around a bunch of people. Like I'm in this for what I need to do. I'm not in this to get friends and gossip and drama. So I kind of stay to myself. But if I'm in a situation where I see something such as homosexuality, I hate it in my heart. And if I know the person like that who's conducting whatever ceremony, I'll pull them to the side. I'll have a talk with them. Like, why would you allow this? But at the end of the day, I have no control over what the next person does. So it's just, I'm at saving myself and my family from these type of things,
Okay. All right.
But I just, I think our people, so-called African Americans, so-called Latinos, we have become so indoctrinated that we have adopted and emulate the oppressor so much that we just don't see it. And we just think it's okay. Like, okay, everybody's gay, so my cousin's gay, so all right, your cousin's gay, but does that make it okay? Because your cousin's gay? And it's trendy now. It's a fad.
Well, if I could say, man,
like even in Islam, and you can YouTube this. There's a gay imam in South Africa. 100%. In Newark, New Jersey, there are tons of gay Muslims. And I'm talking not nations, I'm talking about Sunni Muslims. That your book specifically says that Allah created man and woman so that they may enjoin one another. It has the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. If there was an Islamic state, the penalty for homosexuality is to take the homosexual to the highest peak and throw them off. And when Umar Khattab was the Khalifa, Umar Khattab instituted in that law that the homosexual would be stoned to death when they hit the ground. It's haram. It's unlawful in Islam, but you got Muslims that are gay.
That's really because that really is a function of us being here in America that allows you to do anything, because that doesn't go on in the Middle East, and even in a lot of countries in Africa, especially East Africa, they just don't allow that stuff at all. But I do want to say that I do want to say though that that's, again, going back to what I said before, I think that's why a lot of our people are not really in favor. I'm talking about Israelites that are not in favor of these West African traditions, why we shun them, because it's not just the homosexuality. It's like there's no codified law to govern any of our people's behavior. You can have out of wedlock marriage, you can sleep with children, you can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? It just whatever feels good, just do it. That's that old Epicurean philosophy that the Romans had, and a lot of other nations had. The Greeks had it. A lot of nations had it, and we see it somewhat. We see it somewhat also in West African traditions, and that's not to. It's just being honest. Like there's no codified law to stop. You can say something's wrong. You can reason with somebody that something's wrong, which is what you say you do, and I respect that. But there's actually nothing that says, well, if you do this, there's this penalty. And I think that's why we favor the Torah. I don't want to get stuck on this particular question because I got two more that I know you wanted to deal with. So if you want to have the last word on that, then we can move on to two other things that I know you're doing. Okay. So let's move on to the next thing, because we've been talking about.
I want to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say something real quick, just for the viewers. You see how the brother said what he said, and I said what I said, that's called maturity. Agreeing to disagree, that you don't have to have 900 videos and go at each other's neck about an indifference of ideology or theology. And that's what I see. That's what I'm saying. It can be done. Like, people can just be in peace amongst each other and agree to disagree and keep it moving and not hate one another. Like, come on, that stuff is whack. Like, at the end of the day, you still my brother, and there ain't no hard feelings.
Right. So moving on, this is a subject that's near and dear to your heart, right? This is something that someplace that we'll agree. So you're speaking about orishas and etc., right? And spirits. We're being told now by the conscious community. Now we know that we came over. Some of us. Let me phrase my words. Let me backtrack and rephrase my words. We know some of us, many of us.
Your phone's a little.
No, it's not me. Family, how do I sound? I think you're coming in and out. Family, how do I sound? If I sound good, hit one in the chat. Let me know. The brother said I'm breaking up. How do I sound? If I sound good, put one in the chat. Let me know I sound good.
Oh, man.
So the people in the chat are saying I sound good. So I did hear you breaking up a little bit.
Okay,
so we'll continue.
Oh, wow.
We'll continue. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's continue. All right. Thank y'all, family. I see the ones. Good. Okay. So now, this is what's going on in the conscious community, right? Now, we know we didn't all come over from Africa, right? We know that some of the slave ships came from Spain and from Europe, right? Some of the slave ships came from Africa, right? West Africa. Now, we're taught that in West Africa, there's no such thing as a God concept. Like the ancient West Africans, they worship nature the same way that we are now being told that the ancient Egyptians worship nature. They didn't worship God. It's absolute. I'm just gonna call it. It's BS. It's absolutely BS. But we are being told that that's what it is. The ancient West Africans, which we come from that particular area, although we don't believe that we're actually Africans. We believe that we're Israelites that were dwelling on the continent of Africa along with the native African people. But that's neither here nor there. We're being told that the West Africans had no God. They didn't believe in an ancient God concept. Can you please shed light to what we already know? Did they believe in a supreme deity? Did they believe in gods and spirits?
1 billion, and that's why I say that's why when I was younger, I did what I did. I went to the source itself to learn versus secondhand information. So if I want to learn about Israelites, where am I going to go? Who am I going to go to? Somebody who's not an Israelite? Somebody who watched 3 videos with General Yohana or some other Israelite brother? Or a person that is walking and talking an Israelite? It's the same way with African spirituality. Go to those that are initiated. The tradition, first of all, we believe in one God. The Orishas are not. You'll read some places, it's their gods and this. No, they are the manifestation. They are the manifestation of. So, and as far as spirits goes, we believe in spirits. Now, as far as is there a heaven and a hell, no, we don't believe in a heaven and a hell. I've even heard some people say that there's no reincarnation taught. We actually do believe in a form of reincarnation. We believe that if you have not done what was intended for you to do in this life, that you will reincarnate through your prodigy and do in this world. So that's not, we don't come back as an eraser and a cockroach and a remote control. You know, we don't teach that, but we do believe, you know, to come back in through your siege. And it's absurd because when I hear people say that, and then they'll talk about Kim and say, well, it talks about that well, what are they doing the offering for? For God. They're doing the offering for an ancestor.
That's what I always do.
It's not just some symbol. That's literal. Shoot. We don't, and I'll say it,
they built. Now I was saying they built altars and temples to gods and was sacrificing in them, but these dudes are saying they didn't believe in gods. It's crazy, but go ahead.
I don't get it. I didn't get the memo. I didn't get the memo. I'm sorry. Listen,
and right, absolutely, we know that. That's a fact.
And
brother,
I have a problem saying. I don't have a problem saying this. Someone wants to call me spooky. I'm pro spooky. I'm proud to be spooky. If spooky means I believe in a God, if that means that I can't see that there's something greater than man, because I sure as hell didn't create that cloud and that tree branch and the variations of house cats and this and that and what. Come on, man. It's our human bodies are too intricate as it is, and that this is just all by coincidence, a mistake. You can't even sneeze with your eyes open. You gotta sleep. You gotta use the bathroom. The woman has to menstruate. You know that there's a jellyfish that's immortal. That the jellyfish, if it's not eaten by something else in the ocean or killed by man, that jellyfish will live for eternity. And other, creatures in this world that are like that. How could something like that? It's amazing. Our bodies are amazing. To think that there's nothing greater than this. To me, that's egotism. That's ego. That's arrogance. That sounds like somebody who's bitter because they experienced something hard in their life and they just gave up. Man, it's this the most. I don't got a problem saying the Most High. The Most High is real, all day long.
All praises. Beautiful. People are asking if you have your window open because you do have kind of a delay while you're talking. Do you have a window open or something? Maybe that's why, because there's like a real delay when you're talking. And
it's now closed.
Yeah, you down in Florida, so I know it's hot.
Windows closed.
Yeah.
It's 76 degrees.
You said the audio's out. Oh, that's not that bad. Am I coming through clear, Malik? You can hear me?
Perfect. It's better. I think it was because of the window. I apologize, everybody.
You have a little bit of a delay though. Like when I ask you a question, you take a moment to answer it as though there's some type of delay. So I think there is a delay somehow or another. I don't know what your signal is like or whatever.
Yeah. It's probably those Anunnakis, man. I don't know.
Hey, so I'm gonna ask you a question from Jeremiah Judah asked me to ask you a question. He wants to know if you pray to Oludumare. Do you pray to Oludumare?
To Odolamore.
Okay. Now, for the chat, for the audience, you got to tell people who and what that is, because remember, not everybody knows.
It's to keep it simple. A name of the Creator. Just to keep it simple.
Okay. What we're gonna have to do, Malik, is getting dark. Like we can't even see you no more, and there's a delay. So we're gonna have to maybe do a part 2. There you go. See, now we can see you. There it is. Yeah, yeah, better, but there's still a little bit of a delay. I don't know what happened. It started off really good, but then it's slowly but surely there's like a latency to it. Like when I speak, then I stop, and you speak like about 3 or 4 seconds later. So we can definitely continue this. I want you to, I don't want to end on that point. I want you to finish off whatever you were saying, and then let me ask the chat. You brothers and sisters, hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. If you brothers want to see the brother back on the platform, we can bring him on. I can take some phone calls next time you brothers and sisters can ask him some questions. We're trying to get Brother Malik over here to the Israelite movement 100%, man. You got to make one more move. One more. You ready to make that next move, Malik? We're gonna get you over here with us, man. If y'all want to see, they say they can see you good now, but there's still latency with the
what's the tribe I be in?
You'd be Manasseh, bro. You'd be the tribe of Manasseh if you came over here, man. If y'all want to see Brother Malik again, I'm back. Put one in the chat. One in the chat. Jeremiah, I know you want to call, but the problem is there's a latency. I don't think that he would hear you that well. So we're gonna have to do this again.
Oh God. Listen, Jeremiah Judah, call in. I'm not here to argue. I just want to say that. So I want to say
Jeremiah got a lot of energy.
He don't sign that, yo.
He all right, man. I know. Yeah, he'll be all right. All right, Malik. This is what they said. Everybody's putting a 1. They want to see you back on Maccabees TV. One person said they want to see you come back with some fringes next time. Another person said they want to see you come back only if you have a better connection. Man. So yeah, man, it's probably maybe a function of where he parked, because he's in his car. Maybe it's the place he parked. Maybe the reception is not that good. But the people definitely want to see you back. If there's anything you want to say to
I'm at work
right now before we go, I'll tell you what, Jeremiah. I know that this is something that you're interested in. Why don't I? Yeah, Jeremiah. Why don't I? I'm gonna get in touch with you. Malik, would you mind building with Jeremiah if I was to bring you brothers both on the platform? Would you mind building with him as long as he don't go in on you? Would you mind building with him?
He has to. Okay, listen. You have. Well, it's not that I don't want to. How can I'm not into debating. Like I'm not. That's actually one of the things I'm not allowed to talk. I can't debate people. Not allowed to. And I'm actually kind of glad, because it's like it's a waste of time to debate, because you look at and I'm not particular, all debates wherever, whether it's Oxford, it's the local community college, wherever there's a debate, nobody leaves a debate and says, you know what, guys, you were totally right, I was wrong, and I'm joining it. What I find is examples people change. The example of someone's character. It just, I don't even know what the brother would do, but I'm just saying I'm just not into debating, because it's like, for what? It's like, really, for what? What's the point? There's a difference between a dissertation or a lecture, but I'm not into the debates. I've just not into it. And what I find is it actually makes people resent other people, just be, and like, I'm not for. I love my people, regardless if you're Israelite or not. I have love for you. Regardless of whatever we have disagreements on, I have love for you. I don't want to have that separation. Like, we've already been separated enough. Believe lies.
Right. So the brother said he'll be nice. That remains to be seen. But I'll talk to him and I'll talk to you, and we'll try to have something structured where
he
it
would
doesn't
have
necessarily have to be.
He would have to write this, go to his local bank to get it notarized, and screenshot it.
Okay. Whatever we got to do, man. We'll have a productive conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we want to do. We want to have a productive conversation where the people are edified and learn different things. You know, whether, you know, obviously some of our family members are involved in Santeria or whatever like that. And a lot of us don't know what it is, or voodoo or different things. We don't know what it is really. And so, you know, sometimes we have to have somebody on like yourself that can explain it to us. Not that we have any plans of dealing with it, but at least we know what it is. So we have a better understanding when we're having a conversation about it. I did that with Kemet. Like, you know, I sit down and I listen to certain things that Reggie says and this one says and that one says, and I have a better understanding about what Kemet is and what's not, what things say and what they don't say. So I'll make a better conversation or argument if I'm going to make an argument rather than an argument out of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? So, and my man D-Red, man, you always late, bro. He said, what it do, man? We about to get off. You always late, man. But peace to my man D-Red, the blue collar scholar in the building. Malik, you have the last word, bro. I'm gonna let you have the last word, and then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
It was an honor being on here. I hope I gave any type of clarity to maybe any type of misunderstanding anybody's had about anything. If I've ever offended anybody watching this, I apologize. I'm trying to be a good guy. That's really about it, man. If you wanted me to come on again, it says Sundays are good for you, so we could do a Sunday.
All right, definitely we'll do it. We'll definitely do it on a Sunday for sure. I'm not 100% sure about this Sunday because I got something going on, but we'll definitely get it in on a Sunday. If not Sunday, next Sunday, whatever like that, man. Rakayim, yeah, man. Listen, mate. My man Rakayim Yashala said you sound like an Israelite. Malik hangs around Israelites, man. He hangs around my man Malik from AOC. You know what I'm saying? He hangs around different, you know what I'm saying, brothers, man. So he know what it is, man. We're gonna get him over here. We're gonna work on him. You know what I'm saying? That's why I had him on. It's my guy. It's a good brother, man. So, you know, we're gonna work on him, man. Bring him right on into the fold. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be a warrior for the Most High God, Yahweh. With that being said, brother, it was a pleasure having you on as well. You know, you can call me anytime just for whatever you just want to talk, whatever. You got my number. And yeah, just hit me up, King, all right?
All right, brother. Peace. Thank you.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Family, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your time. Make sure you hit the button on the like button on the way out because y'all sure as hell wasn't hitting it that much on the way in. Not showing y'all brother no love. I always gotta beg. I always got to beg like I'm a 90s R&B group. I gotta beg for likes, man. It's a damn shame. It's your brother Priest Daniel Alliance of Israel. Magazine Alliance Council. And I say shalom. I'll see y'all brothers and sisters later on this week. I have another guest coming on later on this week. Thank y'all. Shalom.